Well, as you can see, I obliterated my charcoal, well, for the most part here. I'm not going to worry about this right now. Decided to focus on not the sky, but instead the landmass. I'll zoom in a little bit at the end of the video just to show you, because I don't think you can see very clearly the colors that are here, because again, we're on a very white canvas. Now I need to decide, I don't need to, but I think I'm going to, I'm unsure about the coloring of these cabins. I know the colors I'm going to use, I'm just not sure yet exactly which will be which. But in the spirit of what I mentioned yesterday or the day before, or last video and the video before that, well, I always mention it, if you're not 100% sure of an area, then paint in an area that you do know. It's easy on this because I basically have the map of the world here, size-wise. What I do know is that on the edge of the painting, I need things to be toned down. I'm going to go into more cadmium colors on these sheds. You know, this will be focal area here. This doesn't need to be, but it still needs to have some presence. So I decided to use some burnt sienna and a little bit of ultramarine blue. I gotta reach way over for my turpentine here, because I thought what I would do is make this cabin sort of a warm brown color. And I can go in the direction of purple. I might do that yet. I just haven't decided. And I don't have to decide. So we start with that. I was using a much bigger brush on the rocks earlier, but when I get into the buildings, I feel I need to be a little more exact with my strokes, with the strokes. So that's kind of why I'm doing it this way, why I'm using a smaller brush. And this brush is, I haven't even used it that much. What do I have here? This is number 4? That's a number 4. I have 2 number 4s. This one's in a little better shape. This one's in a little rougher shape. I will go through both of these and I'll have to buy a new one, and I'll go through the third one as well by the time this painting is done. I will be buying a new one because I want the, I would like the ability to be fairly exact with my strokes when I'm going around structure, you know. If it was just a painting of trees and what have you, I don't worry too much about it. Or not as much anyway. But around buildings, yeah, I kind of like to make it reasonably accurate. Let's take that out of there. Okay, same mixture. Burnt sienna, ultramarine blue, but more ultramarine blue. Darker. Because even though the plan is that the sun is coming from the left, the sun is not catching this building directly. There may be some filtered light, some ambient light catching this wall. So this wall will probably be slightly lighter than this one. This one definitely has no light hitting it. So we're... Okay, I added too much paint thinner here. I don't want that paint to be translucent. I want it to be reasonably opaque. So this will be in the shadow completely. So we'll go darker. Yeah. Pick up a little bit of the building there. I'll even make that a little bit dark. I don't know if that's how it's going to work out. This is going to change. As with everything, it's all going to change. It is just all going to change as we move along. Sorry, evolve. I'm supposed to say evolve, not change. Okay, let me just give things a little wipe here. Okay, burnt sienna is off the table. Now we're going to go to a bit of cobalt blue and ultramarine blue and raw umber. Because it's much bluer. Again, you're seeing everything very dark right now, only because the camera is picking up this low value stuff against a white canvas. I can see the colors very clearly, and that's good because I am the only one here who needs to see the values very clearly. But once you know, once sky is washed in, the more wash in the painting receives, wash in, underpainting, whatever you want to call it, the more you will begin to see colors, the colors that I'm applying. Okay, that's dark. That's dark. That's dark. And a little more cobalt blue to that. You know, when I paint, when I do the actual painting, that's when I will put light in there. That's when I will put light where the light belongs. For the time being, I'm just setting myself up. You know, a painting like this is a lot of work. You're painting the entire thing twice, 2 times. Once on much lower values, the second time around, you know, much lower values with, no, first time around, you're painting the entire thing with much lower values. And you have to be mindful of that constantly when you're painting. So you're thinning your paint off with turpentine, mineral spirits, whatever you're, you know, pick your poison, and you're getting rid of the white while at the same time giving yourself references for what colors you want to use. Then you're going over it again and then painting it with the colors you intend to use and the values you intend to use. And then, in my case anyway, after that I will go over areas of the painting again, highlighting certain spots to give it that final sparkle, that thing that I call step 6. You know, that involves any changes I want to make, any modifications I want to make. Okay, so there's the fence. What appears to be the black fence. Now, I'm not going to start this fence because I don't know how far to go down, so we'll leave it. I'm not going to paint in here. Don't know how far I'm going to go down, so I'm going to leave it. But let's put the roof in. Why not? Okay. This is weathered wood. This is weathered wood. Similar paint. Same colors. Yellow ochre. Actually, no ultramarine blue this time. We'll just go... No yellow ochre. What am I talking about? Excuse me. Cobalt blue. Raw umber. A cool gray. I'm so tempted to add some white, but you know, I'm not going to. I'm just going to keep it dark. In the washing, this will all look like a silhouette for the most part in front of the sky. It's when the painting comes along that the silhouette is removed and you start to see the nature of these buildings. And then the buildings will rise above the colors in the sky and become stronger. There'll be a coup d'etat. A color coup. You could say they're cool colors. Okay. I'll be quiet now for a moment. I kind of feel guilty dragging you along for these little sort of vignettes, but I guess if it's blogish material, it works okay. Because I feel like I'm not getting a lot done each time, but I know I've had a lot of comments actually from you guys saying that it doesn't bother you at all. Just go ahead. The more you see during the process of a painting, maybe the more helpful it is and helpful to you, and that's great. I'm actually really happy to hear that, because that is the whole point of this channel. Okay, that's the dark stuff over there. Now I'm gonna add just a hint of white to it, just a bit. And this is a bit of distant fence. And while I have the color on my palette, I may as well take my crayon and fill it in, right? And a touch more white. That is a distant shed back there. A weathered wood roof. Excuse me. I'm not going to do these roofs because I don't want them all the same. I don't know yet. I'm gonna need some subtle differences in color. Yeah, they're all old weathered wood, but it doesn't mean they're all the same color. They might have some subtle changes in them. But I know something about this roof, this little pump house that you have to get on your hands and knees to climb into and plug in every time you want to use the pump to suck water out of the lake to bring it up to the sheds, or, you know, once upon a time that was necessary maybe. But what I do know is that this is less important, this is less important, this is more important. Now that these are in place, I will work my way in and decide on colors. Next time, we'll have that in place. Okay, I did say I would sort of pan the painting a little bit, so I'll do that. picking up tripod. Okay, I am editing in real time, editing in real time, editing in real time. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I'll zoom in. Maybe you can. Yeah, that's looking very dark. It is very dark, but you can't pick up the colors so well because, of course, as I say, it's against a white canvas. The human eye is much better at picking up subtleties than any camera. See, variation, more umber on some rocks, more blue on some rocks. That's ultramarine blue and umber, raw umber, burnt umber, sorry. And then that's where I've just kind of left off. And our shed here. Oops. Okay, now the windows and the voids, windows and doors in all of these sheds, yeah, I painted them all very dark. No, I washed them in all very dark. It doesn't mean they're all going to be open. It just means I haven't decided what to paint in those areas yet. It's an aid for me to know where exactly everything is. And it's really not too important, the fact that they're painted in dark. I will reintroduce the light later. But there it is so far. Have a good night.